You've seen haunted houses in movies, but what if you had to survive inside one for 3 days? Well, that's exactly what I did, and what I witnessed still haunts me to this day. It all started when I set foot inside that dilapidated mansion. The air instantly turned ice cold, causing goosebumps to erupt across my skin. Then I heard it. A whisper, barely audible, yet it seemed to echo within my bones. It called my name, beckoning me deeper into its shadowy embrace. My heart pounded against my ribs like a trapped bird as I followed the sound, my flashlight beam cutting through the gloom to reveal a grand staircase spiraling into darkness above. As I made my way further into the house, the whispering grew louder, more insistent, weaving tales of sorrow and despair. Each step I took seemed to send echoes of the past reverberating around me, like footsteps from another era. Suddenly, a floorboard creaked above me, startling me out of my thoughts. Was it the wind or something more sinister? The house was massive, its rooms sprawling like chapters in a book of forgotten memories. There were portraits with eyes that seemed to follow me and furniture draped in white sheets, their contours stark against the pallid fabric. The whispers continued, weaving stories of lives once lived within these four walls, of laughter and joy, but mostly of tragedy and loss. It felt as though the very walls were exhaling their history onto me, their icy breath caressing my skin. In the parlor, a grand piano stood silent, its keys yellowed with age. As I approached, the whispers intensified, swirling around me like a spectral waltz. The music they spoke of echoed faintly in my ears, a haunting melody that tugged at my soul. The first night was the hardest. I huddled in a sleeping bag on the floor of one of the bedrooms, clutching my flashlight like a shield. Every creak of the aging house sent shivers down my spine. Around midnight, a loud bang from upstairs shattered the silence, sending me scrambling for cover. When I looked up, the source of the noise was gone. Then a door slammed shut, as if someone had stormed through it in anger. But I was the only person in the house, or so I thought. With each passing hour, the sounds grew more intense, making it clear that I wasn't alone. My rational mind told me it was just the wind or perhaps a stray animal seeking shelter from the storm. But my heart hammered against my ribs, convinced that something was there, watching me, waiting for me to let my guard down. Then came the voices, disembodied whispers that brushed against my ears, carrying fragments of conversations from long ago. They spoke of love and loss, of fear and despair, their words weaving a tapestry of sorrow that clung to me like a shroud. In the midst of the torment, I found myself drawn to the attic. As I ascended the creaking stairs, the whispers reached a fever pitch, urging me to come closer, to delve deeper into the house's secrets. At the top of the stairs, I paused, my heart pounding in my chest. Before me lay a dimly lit room filled with cobwebs and dust motes dancing in the weak light, filtering through grimy windows. I explored further, discovering old trunks and forgotten toys, each item whispering tales of the lives that had unfolded here. Among the clutter, I found a diary bound in leather, its pages filled with elegant script. As I read, I learned of a family who had lived in the house over a century ago, their joys and sorrows echoing through time. The attic became my sanctuary for the next few hours as I delved into the lives of those who had come before me, seeking solace in their stories. On the second day, the entity continued to taunt me, its presence growing stronger with each passing moment. I felt its icy fingers brush against my skin, sending shivers down my spine. The whispers followed me everywhere, weaving a constant reminder of the unseen force that shared the house with me. One room stood out. A child's bedroom with a rocking horse frozen mid-gallop and a doll lying face down on the floor. I felt an overwhelming sense of sadness, as if the spirits of a family lingered here, their laughter and joy mingling with their pain and sorrow. As I turned to leave, I caught my own reflection in a cracked mirror. For a moment, I saw not my own image, but the spectral form of a girl in a Victorian nightgown. She stared back at me with eyes filled with sorrow before fading away. The encounter shook me to my core, leaving me questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. Throughout the day, strange occurrences kept me on edge. Unexplainable cold spots, flickering candle flames, and the occasional whisper or sigh. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the dusty rooms, the activity intensified. Objects moved, doors creaked open and closed, and the whispers grew louder, forming coherent sentences that spoke of tragedy and despair. Fear gnawed at my resolve, whispering doubts in my ear. Was I truly alone in that house? Had I unleashed something I couldn't control? The scratching persisted throughout the night, driving me to the edge of sanity. With each passing hour, the urgency in the scratching grew, as if whatever was trapped on the other side clawed at the walls in a desperate attempt to break free. The scratching became more frantic, escalating into a cacophony of noise that shook the very foundation of the house. Then came the growling, low, guttural sounds that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. It was a primal display of rage and frustration, a sonic representation of the torment brewing within the house's confines. The growling intensified, vibrating through the floor and rattling the windows. I could feel the vibrations in my bones, a physical manifestation of the turmoil that gripped my soul. In the end, it was the door that finally gave way. With a deafening crash, it burst from its hinges, revealing a gaping void where the wall had been. The scratching and growling abruptly ceased, replaced by an unsettling silence. I sat there paralyzed with fear, unable to comprehend what had happened. The hole in the wall seemed to pulsate, a wound in the fabric of reality. Then, from the corner of my eye, I saw movement. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness beyond the wall, taking shape before me. Its eyes glowed with an eerie light, and its expression twisted into a silent scream of anguish. The entity beckoned with a finger, drawing me towards the gaping hole. And in that moment, I knew it wanted me to follow, to join it in the darkness beyond. I stumbled backwards, my heart pounding against my ribs. I had to escape, to flee from both the entity and the house it inhabited. With newfound determination, I raced through the darkened halls, my breaths coming in ragged gasps. The house seemed to twist and turn on itself, its labyrinthine layout designed to test my sanity. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs trembled, desperate to put as much distance between myself and the house as possible. Finally, as the first rays of dawn pierced through the gloom, I burst out of the front door and stumbled into the clearing. I collapsed on the dew-covered grass, gasping for breath, my entire body trembling with exhaustion and terror. As I lay there, the horrors of the previous night crashed over me, bringing fresh waves of fear. The entity may have retreated, but its presence lingered in my mind, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond our perception. To this day, I bear the scars of that ordeal, the scratches on my arms and the haunting whispers that echo in my dreams. Some places, I've learned, are best left undisturbed, for the secrets they hold can consume those who dare to uncover them.